him every day in a way. When somebody approaches me with a situation and somebody at the school might ask me a question, it might make me internally feel like, hey, yeah. Then I realized when Haymor responded this way, it got like this. But against this person, it's like that. Then instead of that, it's almost like formulaic. Like every day. Every day. But I just really try to make sure I just encourage him. You know, the 4 years that he was band director, we were so busy like creating, a lot of our friendship kind of went away.
So, first things first, man, shout out to actually getting them two in a room, right? Because I don't think that we've ever seen those two in a room or in a space together too often ever since, you know, everything went down in Southern. So shout out to that. But also, you know, being able to openly talk about the fact that this is somebody that you looked up to. But one of the things that he actually said was, or one of the things that I find interesting is that he's saying the relationship started to change. And I can tell you, you know what? Let's get a little bit more meat out of this before I really start talking about it. Let's get a little bit more meat out of this.
He started focusing more on running the band, and then he starts getting into so much politics and everything. Like we wasn't having certain conversations like we used to. I was just seeing you. I was seeing whatever you had going on, and I'm like, I don't know what this is, but you know.
But that's kind of
So that's an interesting thing, right? One of the things that in band director life a lot of people don't realize, per your situation, that role can change you. You know, not every situation is created equal, and not every situation is perfect. And you know, I've read Haymor's book, and basically throughout that whole thing, there are parts of it that I truly understood because I've seen it. And those things can pull you out of who you are or who you want to be, right? And so, to be very honest, based on the issues that you have, the administration that you have, or the support that you have, like those things can change you. It can make you not trustworthy of a lot of people, right? Like I've seen directors go into positions, and based on the situations they've been in those positions, they don't trust the people that often around them, right? Or they become so consumed on all of the other stressors of the job, specifically within itself, that they start pulling away from the things that made them, you know, connect with people and so on and so forth. And so it makes them feel it almost makes them feel kind of standoffish to other people and so on and so forth. So I've seen it happen on a lot of different situations. So hearing this story and hearing it come from you know, Brian Simmons specifically towards Haymor, man, is really interesting to hear, man. Let's keep listening.
Thing, you probably see it too, when you ascend to a certain level of leadership, you don't get to hang with your friends the exact same way. There's certain, you know, elders that used to call me every Saturday or call you all the time, and they got this version of you. Well, now this next level requires this of you. And you know, he talked about it since, what was it, 7 years old, want to be the head band director at Southern. You're eventually there. You never get to see the end of the yellow brick road and behind the curtain until you're there. And then when you're there, you don't get a learning curve. You have to deal with what's there.
I think I can honestly say I respected where he was at whatever time. Like I never, man, you should have been like this, or why you not doing this? I knew enough to know that I didn't know nothing at all.
He's so I believe that's the host of this podcast. He says something that I definitely agree with. Like being in a leadership position, again, it does change you, right? Because there's a level of things that you have to worry about that obviously that you are, like he said, you're not prepared for when you reach that peak, or when you reach that pinnacle, or when you reach that top of the mountain. All those different versions of however you want to be able to say it, right? But then there is that different element that I talked about earlier, when you have so much other adversity that's coming up against you, not to mention your personal life, right? Your personal life is a thing. And so when we start talking about just being in leadership position by itself, And then you add on the other elements of being responsible for over 100 or over 150 or 200 kids. And then you start adding in the other elements on your administration is doing this to you. You're not being funded the way that you think that you should be funded. You're trying to worry about your other guys based on his book. You're trying to worry about your other guys getting paid. And then you still have your personal situations going on. It's a lot, and that will pull you out of it. But I think that that's dope that Brian definitely said that he still respected him for the level that he was on, right? Like we've got to be very honest, and I like the fact that Brian said that. To be very honest, we have got to be a lot more honest and open with the reality of the fact that people go through their own things, specifically in leadership positions. Sometimes we look at people in leadership positions and we think that, oh, well, they're supposed to do it this way, or they should be doing it this way, but you don't know what they're dealing with, like, directly. Because a lot of times we hold a lot of stuff in as leaders, people in leadership positions. We don't speak about everything. We don't tell everybody everything, right? Because in a lot of ways, some of the stuff is confidential. A lot of ways, some of the stuff that you don't want to let out, some of the ways you don't want to show people that you're weak when you're supposed to be in a leadership position, when you're supposed to be guiding and leading people through certain things. A lot of times you just don't want to be open and honest about what's going on. And so you bottle a lot of that stuff in. And then sometimes it comes out like this huge explosion of powder keg, or however you want to call it. But the reality is that we've got to give leaders a lot more grace than what we give them. And so I applaud Simmons for actually sitting here, being very honest and open with the fact that he's saying that, hey man, I just accepted you wherever you were in your walk or where your journey was. That's who you were. Let's see if we can get a little more meat out of this. My bad. I actually hit the mute button by mistake.
I knew that there was a lot dividing us besides that desk. No matter what he told me, I would never feel it. And so there was some respect there, you know? And so once he transitioned out of that job, he started to be able to speak on some of the things that broke him. So you can't speak on the things that break you as a man. Let's be more specific. Sometimes as a man. Even more specifically as a black man. Absolutely. I deal with that on the job. Sometimes I let people get off saying some stuff. I let you get off saying some stuff. Because, you know, but we...
Yeah, he basically said it, right? He said it, and then he did add that being a man element, which, again, that is a thing, right? Like, leadership is leadership. Leadership, being a leader... When you're walking into a space, the level of vulnerability, there's a level of vulnerability that you don't want to show, right? You can let out a little bit, right? Because that allows you to be able to connect to the people that you're leading, right? The people that you're leading can see you being vulnerable, but there is only a certain amount that you can let out before people think or lose trust or think that you're weak or whatever. But then there's that man element that's attached to it, right? Like that level of being a man and understanding, or that thought process of what being a man is, and saying you gotta be strong, you can't be vulnerable, you can't be weak, you can't show it. And so him basically saying that once he left the position, then that conversation was able to be had, and he had a deeper and greater understanding, especially seeing as he's in the position right now of leadership at Texas Southern University. So, you know, I really think that this is actually a super dope interview, but I think that there's a lot of good information that they're sharing in this, man. I'm going to leave the link for this interview, or at least where I got it from, right down in the description, man, because I want you guys to go check it out and build your own thoughts for yourself. But you guys tell me, man, what are your thoughts, man? Is Brian speaking some truth? You know, are you all actually excited to be able to see this interview, man, and see all the information? I want you guys to leave all that down in the description. Don't forget, you can get anything in our store. All you got to do is tag whatever you want, put it inside of the cart, and you can get 30% off your purchase. All you got to do is type in HBCU van. Outside of that, though, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all, and I'll holler at y'all later. Peace.